And we're live. Kit, Seti, ew. To both of you. How's it going? I should welcome everyone properly. Good evening. Welcome to Wildlander. Well, sort of. We're not really diving in today. We are just going to create our character. Create our character and kind of take a look at some of the mods, because if some of you may or may not know, I've done this before. Jorge, a good evening to you, but also so yeah, we've dabbled. We dipped the toes into Wildlander before, and it didn't go well. That's on me. I tried to do a story and dove in and was not fully prepared for how unforgiving this can be. But I think we're ready this time. So recently, for anyone watching now or later that doesn't know, there was a poll that we did where I was like, hey, we're at a point in Nightblade. Should we continue and just go through the main story until we unlock the ability to get into Vigilant, Worm's Tooth, all that good stuff? Or should we start a whole new series, new character, basically playing as a normal, well, person? You know, that could be elf, orc, or any of the other races. We're just a normal person. And we're doing survival. And we're just trying to live in the world of Skyrim rather than be the hero of the world. Or the third option was, should we just do something else? And whenever I checked just a little bit ago, it was 60% of the votes, at least 60%, were for this, what we're doing now. So that's how we got here. So since we're here, we got to make our new character, and then we're going to dive in. We're going to just look at some mods, stuff like that, you know, see if we can get the lay of the land. But also, for you that's watching right now, participating in the chat, first off, thank you for being here, but you're going to help me build the character. You're going to decide who our regular person is going to be, what type of character they are. We're going to build a backstory together, sort of. There's not going to be a story like I had in Coda. This is just going to be no story. The game is going to tell the story to us. So, for example, we could start as, I'll just say, a hunter out in the wilds doing our thing. You know, and as we're working along, we maybe pick up a quest here that guides our choices and all that stuff. Bring Catface back. No, Catface is done. When it comes to Skyrim, Catface is done. Let's see, Seti, make him a big black man named Requise. I hope I'm saying that right. I knew and worked with a Jaquise back whenever I was in Texas. One of my favorite people to work with. He wasn't big, so it's like halfway there. But here we go. All right. Now, also, part of the UI in Wildlander is down here where my camera is, so I may need to bump my camera up. We'll figure it out. Anywho, I've dove in with just a test character just to make sure it works. It works, so that's good. Anyway, we're going to do a new game. Like I said, I'm covering some of the UI. But here we go. Let's get to character creation, shall we? All right, welcome, Wildlander. You enter a world of beauty and brutality where death is a way of life, and only the strong and clever survive. Okay. Before we begin, setup needs to finalize. Please don't touch the controls during setup. A message will appear upon completion. Yeah. All right, let's finalize. Not touching controls. Mouse and keyboard untouched. My water, however, is not. Let's open this up. Okay. Noises are happening. Equipment potentially being equipped. You know how these things go. All right, good news, Wildlander. Setup is complete, and your adventure awaits. Let's see, until someone hacks in. All right, here we go. So first thing, we got to bring race into it. I know. Anywho, let's go through. Let's read. I want you guys to be thinking, paying attention. Let's look at, for example, Argonian. So Argonians are the reptilian denizens of Black Marsh. Years of defending their borders have made them experts in stealth and evasion, and their natural abilities make them equally at home in water and on land. They're resistant to diseases and poisons and enjoy raw meat. Their hissed skin allows them to quickly heal their wounds and then slowly regenerate for a long duration once per day. Okay? They start with perks of a little bit of alteration, some light armor, lockpicking, pickpocket, restoration, and sneak. Okay, not bad. There's Argonian. Breton. Bretons, the inhabitants of the province of High Rock, are the human descendants of the elves and the ancient race of the Needs? Something like that, I don't know. While Bretons are physically weak, they can tap on magicka more than any other human race, and they are particularly capable in the school of conjuration. Their magic resistance blocks 1/5 of incoming spell damage, and they can call upon the dragon skin power to absorb spells once per day. All right. Got a little alchemy, alteration, a lot of conjuration, illusion, restoration, speechcraft. All right. Well, that's that. Dark elf. The Dunmer, oh, there we go, or dark elves, are the ash-skinned, red-eyed elven people of Vrandarfell. Sorry, adjusting my watch. There we go. They combine powerful intellects with strong and agile physiques, producing excellent warriors and evokers. They're extremely resistant to fire, blocking 2/3 of incoming fire damage. Once per day, they can call upon their ancestors to protect them from almost everything for a short duration. So you get alteration, destruction, illusion, light armor, one-handed, and sneak. Let me go back to this chat here. What mood? What Modlist are using? The characters look different. This is Wildlander. Wildlander. And then Kit, I'll go with Breton. That's just me. They're my favorite race by far. Okay. Okay. We'll keep that in mind. All right, High Elf. The Altmer of Somerset Isle are called High Elves in the Empire, describing both their physical appearance and their snobbish personality. The arcane ability of High Elves surpasses all other races in Tamriel. Their highborn power allows them to regenerate magicka very quickly once per day. They're weak in physical combat, however, and their magic affinity makes them 40% more susceptible to hostile spells. Whoo! They get alteration, conjuration, destruction, enchanting, illusion, restoration. All right, Imperials. Yep. Go back down there. There we go. Original teabag, our first victim breeds to be Nazine. Okay. I'm hoping that's begs to be Nazine, not breeds. That'd be a little different. Anyway, Imperials. The cosmopolitan citizens of Cyrodiil are descended from the founders of the glorious empire that has influenced Tamriel's history throughout the eras. Tamriel's history. Oh, I already read that. Imperials are shrewd traders skilled in both magic and combat and possess exceptionally high stamina because of the martial discipline of the schools of Cyrodiil. Once per day, they can call upon the voice of the Emperor to influence others. Skittle block, destruction, heavy armor, one-handed, restoration, and speech craft. Needs. Okay. We will not be breeding Nazim in this playground. Alright, Khajiit. The Khajiit are a race of feline humanoids hailing from the province of Elsewhere, well known as great merchants and also as smugglers and thieves. They're very fast and outrun all other races, which combined with a high stamina reserve makes them fearsome skirmishers. However, they're seldom gifted with the skill to harness magical forces. All Khajiit can see in the dark at will and eat raw meat. And their sharp claws are lethal as knives. They get alchemy, archery, lockpicking, one-handed, pickpocket, and sneak. Nords. They're tall and fair, with a culture which honors, well, which values honor, which not honors honor, values honor, glory, and loyalty to family and community. Nords have come to distrust magic but excel in physical warfare. They're greatly resistant to frost and lightning damage. A little interesting extra there. Reducing them by half and by 1/4, respectively. Once per day, Nords gifted with the Thoom can enter a trance that allows them to shout rapidly, pausing only for breath. So, since we're not going to be a dragonborn, that would be useless to us, just as a heads up. So, they get block, heavy armor, light armor, one-handed smithing, and two-handed. So they get a little everything combat-wise there. Orcs, the Orsmer or pariah folk, commonly called orcs, come from Orsinium in the west. Their savage appearance and customs sometimes cause fear, but they have one acceptance for their distinguished service in the Legion. Orcs' superior strength makes them formidable warriors, though the use of magic requires extensive training. Zerg Rage allows them to greatly increase their strength while having all damage taken once per day. They get block, heavy armor, light armor, one-handed, smithing, two-handed. Alright, Redguard. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, didn't want to sneeze in everyone's ears. Okay, so where were we? Redguards, yes. The dark-skinned, wiry-haired Redguards of Hammerfell seem born for battle, though their proud and independent spirits suit free-ranging heroism more. They have a hardy constitution and natural resistance to poison and disease, but tend to shun their magic. They can force an adrenaline rush to flood themselves with stamina and move faster than normal, gaining an immunity to most paralysis effects. So they get alteration, archery, block, destruction, one-handed, and smithing. And finally, Wood Elves. The Bosmer, or Wood Elves, originate from the sacred forest of Valenwood. Valenwood? I forget how it's actually pronounced. Anywho, their culture is highly carnivorous and even cannibalistic, derived from the green pact with the forest, in which they harm no plant. Their dexterity makes them excellent scouts and thieves, and there are no finer archers in all of Tamriel. They have a natural resistance to diseases, and once per day can command nearby animals to fight for them. So they get alchemy, archery, a light armor, lockpicking, pickpocket, and sneak. So there we go. Now we got to figure out what we're going to be. So I think I'm going to put a poll in the chat. A couple of polls, actually, because we're going to probably have to split this. So let me do a poll. I can only do, what, a few at four at a time? Okay. So our first, I wish I could have both of these. Actually, I know what I can do. Hold on. Let me try something. Let me see if I can use my phone instead of having to tab out of this. All right, hold on. Let's do this. We'll do it live. Let's see. Pulling up the phone. Let me pull up the stream. Here we go. Let me pause the stream so I'm not double talking here. Nope, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Okay, well... Alright, I'm not going to be able to do this poll from my phone, so I'm going to have the screen paused for just a moment. Bear with me. We're going to start a poll. We're going to do a couple polls. Oh, yeah. And we're going to make some choices. So we have Argonian. We have Breton. We have Dark Elf. Oh, I'm yelling at you in this poll. Dark Elf. And we have High Elf. All right. So that's 4, and then another. So we're going to do a few polls to start this off. So, boom. We're starting that poll. Hopefully it works. Excellent. Okay. So, this is not necessarily saying here's what we're going to be. This is just who moves on to the next round. That's all this is. Out of these, who's moving forward to the next round? Because we're going to have a first round and then a second round, which will have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do 3 polls and then 1 poll to pick our winner. So. We're not gonna waste a whole lot of time on this. Let me pull this back up. Let me see if I can see how things are doing on my phone. Of course not. Thank you, YouTube, for your app not being able to show me these things. Love it. Love to see it. All right. I'll give this another 10 seconds. So we'll go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And all right, let me come over here. Come to the poll. In the poll, Dark Elf won with the 50% of those votes. So Dark Elf will be moving on. Now for our next round. Nope, not a Q&A. Not asking stuff. Not answering stuff. We'll start another poll. All right, let me get our choices. So next we have an Imperial. We have Khajiit. Then we have Nord. Oh, Nord. Hold on, did I leave out something? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, okay, the final one will just be 2. That's right. And then we have Orc. All right, we're starting this poll. Imperial, Khajiit, Nord, Orc. So let me come back here while we wait. All right, that poll has started. So Dark Elf is moving forward. Now we just got to see who's moving forward is on this one. I wish the poll would show up on the screen of the stream, but it's not, unfortunately. All right, let's see how we're doing here. I'm not surprised what is showing as winning. Khajiit, if you can imagine that, but we'll let this ride for just a little bit. All right, I think I know where this is going, so I'm going to come over here. Yep, sure enough, Khajiit is winning that. Okay, so we'll end the poll. Not surprised at all. Okay, now our final poll. Oh, let me come back to this. All right, final poll is, what was our last two? Was what, Redguard and Wood Elf? think. Let me just double check. Oop. Careful. Yeah, Redguard and Wood Elf. Okay. Poll is starting. So right now we've got Dark Elf and Khajiit that are moving on to the finals. Instead of Redguard, put Requise. Not doing that. All right, so we got that final first round poll is up and going. Oh, I see votes are moving around a little bit. Seems to be some indecision. Controversy, potentially. We'll let it ride for just a little bit. Okay, it looks like that indecision has stopped. And Wood Elf is taking the vote. All right, I'm going to end that poll. So, our final round is going to be Dark Elf. Oh, if I could spell. Dark Elf, Khajiit, and Bip. Oh, careful. What's going on? There we go. Wood Elf. All right, this is our final round to decide who's our character, or at least the race of our character. Dark Elf, Khajiit, Wood Elf. Let's go. Poll has started. All right, we'll just come back here while I wait. Just keep an eye on it. Dark Elf is doing its thing. It's moving up and down a little bit. Okay. Looks like Dark Elf is in the lead. Uh-oh. I was not expecting that. If you can believe it. Dark Elf, really? Okay. I'm going to let the poll ride for just a bit longer, just in case. Sadie, no one likes your Requise idea. I mean, we're a Redguard in Oblivion. So there's that. Zumacrum is Redguard. So, I mean, if that's any consolation. Oh, looks like Dark Elf. The number is turned a bit. Let me go expand the poll here. Okay. Really? Me too? Okay, well, there we go. Dark Elf is our winner. All right, so let's come back to the actual thing here. So we've got some magic, one-handed, light armor, sneak. Okay, I'm sure we can do something with that. All right, Dark Elf. Now for this, I'm just going to flip a coin for if we're going to be the male or the female one. So instead of trying to cover up the screen with this, I'm just going to pull it up on my phone. All right, we're going to get this ready here. Okay, I got it. We're going to flip this coin. Flipping. All right, heads. So, be a male elf. Setting. Of course you would say that. All right, so for the presets, let's just kind of skim through a bit. Let me zoom it. Gotta look at the faces. That's the more important thing, even though we're not going to really see it. Gee, I wonder where I got the inspiration for a couple of characters here. Oh, hold on. So we got nine 9 choices. Mr. Seti, Mr. Kristoff, I'll let you decide. Pick from 0 to 9. Pick a number. We'll go with that. I'll leave that in your hands. Since every single suggestion you're making is just getting shot down. We'll give you a bit of a choice here. You got 0 through 9. Just pick a number. And if not, see the options? Okay, well, we got 0 right here. Jorge votes for number 4. Potential influence on your choice there. All right, so we got that was 0. This is 1. I'll leave that up for a second. This is 2. This is the 3. And a 4. And a 5. A 6. And 7. Then 8. Oh, 8. There we go. And then finally, number 9. Now keep in mind, we can change some things about them. I'm probably just going to randomize some stuff. But we need a baseline. We need a nice baseline to start informing us of what our character's going to be. You go with number 4. Okay. Is that the Joey-influenced one? Oh. Come on. Of course it is. All right, we don't want him to look just like Joey. Looks like he gets laid. All right. So for skin tones, well, we got 4 presets, or, you know, we can really get crazy with it. I wish I could just randomize this. But let's see. Let me cancel out of that. All right, I know what I'll do. I'm just gonna look away, cover up. Okay, make sure that's still going. Yes, okay. Well, it went to number 4. Okay. We're making buff boy, skinny boy. Let's beef him up a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. All right. Complexion. I'm just gonna. We'll stop there. Okay. Oh, we don't have any dirt. Make it like Joey. Beefy. Pause. Let's see. Scars. We could even give ourselves some horns to be a. What is that? Altimer? Some antlers, excuse me. Bosmer, because I believe they're supposed to have antlers. It's more lore accurate. All right. We could also go with, let's see if it's still here, if it's been modded out. It'd be one of the older ones, I would imagine. Let's see. That's just 1 scar. We need those 3. I mean, there's the 3, but it's on the wrong side. It's supposed to be on the right side of the face. If we go with those cat face ones. Let's see, like the horns? Be like a hybrid? Okay. Pick one of the straight horns? Okay. Alright, so we got just a few options for horns. Let me, you know, kind of turn. That one's a bit more curved horns. Yeah, that's kind of straight back. We got this kind. And then we're basically a deer. I'm thinking Probably this one. If I had to make my own decision, I would say probably this one if we go with some horns. All right. That one? Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, so next we got some war paint, which we don't have anything currently. We got some different options. Go none. So we got -1 through 15. Kit. If you can hear. Let's see. Agree with the horns. Can you change the colors on them? That's a good question. That is a good question. There may be. Let me see. I'm not going to genitals. I remember that being here. Let's go. Back that way. Let's see. Seti, you say no paint. Kit, I was going to ask you if we go with any war paint. What do you think as far as that goes? We can go no war paint or some war paint. I'll let you make that decision. Now, as far as the scars, I'm not sure. Almost. I think we would have to do some stuff to really make that show up on camera. I don't know if it would just show. And actually, I know what I can do. I know what I can do to make sure I don't get myself some kind of strike. Let me do this for a second. And I'm going to go to there. And if I... Okay. Still clothed. And if I zoom in back to where we were... Hold on. Okay. Let me come back to here. Get the game back. See? This is basically what we would have. So, I'm not too worried. All right, let's come back. Let's see. Now, back to if we can change the color of the horns. I don't see a scar one, because that's what it would be. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Kit, you agree with no paint? Okay. Easy on scars. 1 to 2 scars, sign of someone who's fought before. Too many is someone who can't dodge. All right. So we've decided no war paint. The ears, I'm not going to really worry about. Some of the stuff I'm not too concerned with. The actual face, I'll leave it be for now. The eyes, though, this is where we're at. So we've got all kinds of options. Eye shapes, right now it's at 16. The color doesn't help us as far as it standing out. So I'm going to put on some really bright ones for a second so we can kind of see a little bit how things could change. If we want to. But I would say since we decided on at least the paint, we're not going to go that way. For our actual eyeballs, what are we going to do here? Let's see. Oh, no, kid, it's okay. Language is cool. Oh, hold on. I've switched to the scene that does not have the chat. Whoops, that's on me. There we go. All right, let's come back here. There we are. Now, chat's nice and covering everything. Professional streamer. No, it's okay. We're not worried about what the sliders are, at least currently. Okay, so I'm going to say eyeballs. I'm just going to... Like, some of the ones over here, I like a bit better rather than some of the really elf kind of ones, you know what I'm saying? We'll just go with this one. Now, as far as the color, well, we have 112 possible colors. I'm not going to run through all of them by any means. Let's see, got a cool idea. Make his skin that Dunmer gray. You could build a story where he gains a reputation of being such a ruthless and efficient assassin. People call him the Gray Devil. Intrigue. Intrigue abound. I mean, we can change the skin color for sure. That's, you know, the ones that we looked at are not the only ones that we have available. And because of the horns, exactly. Yeah, that would line up. We got white eyelashes. All right, we got all kinds of stuff. I'm going to just let you guys just throw out some suggestions, like if you see some colors or something. Now, all of them, for the most part, are going to have the extra red, almost all of them. Of course, there's like some that have normal kind of the whites around the eyes, but a lot of them are the red ones. But if you guys see anything, just let me know. A color of some kind. And if we can find it, we'll find it. Or we can go with, you know, the closest option. I'll just kind of skim through for a little bit. And if I don't get anything... Let's see, some kind of red. Okay. Now we can look at, like, let's see. Like, that's a red on red. So that is what? Number 21? Or, let's see. Let's see, somewhat purple mix black type. Okay, that's another option. If such a thing exists. Now this is like a darker red. Those blood eyes look cool. I agree. I agree. They definitely look cool. Now, let's see. If we get into kind of a less elven... Kit, you say that one. I'm assuming you meant like when we're back here. I didn't take note of what number it was. But it was that... I mean, this is like a red and black. But if we go... Let's go this way a bit. Jorge, you say 21. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this is like the darker version of 21, where instead of being the bright red in the middle and then bright red on the outside, it's a brighter red and then darker red. There's like a red with light red. Kit says that one. I'm going to pause right here, see if we like this one. Because I'm thinking it's kind of between... It's 83 is what we're on. And then 21. I wonder if I can... No, I can't type it in. I was going to say that would be nice. You say, yeah, those. Okay. So I'll leave it here. We've got... This is 83. And then 21 is basically the brighter version of this. My personal preference would be let's lean towards the 83. But... All right, Kit says 83. Red with light red isn't 21 or 83. You didn't see the number. Okay. That's okay. We got a couple saying, hey, let's go with this. All right. Next up, let's see. Currently, we have some levels of eyeliner. If I bring it, like, gives us that, like, darker kind of sunken look. We also have eyeshadow. Oh, let me come back. So the eye tint. is the darker kind, like this. We could take it away completely. The eye shadow is up there underneath the eyebrows. Or we could leave it darker. You know? Kind of gives a bit more of the, you know, evilish vibe. Let's see, leave it as dark. Okay. Okay. We can do that. Otherwise, it's stuff like, I mean, this is some really in-depth kind of stuff that I am not too concerned with, because, to be honest, we're not going to see our character's face that much. The brows, we've got a lot of different ones. I mean, to be honest, we can kind of go with anything because they're all the really big arched ones. Like, what's I haven't played it in a while. It's in Tekken. There's that one guy that's got like the crazy eyebrows. I don't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure it's Tekken. Anywho. Heihachi. There we go. Thank you, Seti. And am I right? That's Tekken? I haven't played Tekken since Tekken Tag Tournament came out back in the day. So I don't remember if that is Tekken. Yeah, okay, good. Just making sure. For the eyebrows, I'm not, like I said, a lot of them are very similar outside of getting rid of them. Should get one TV show, Star Trek from Spock. Yeah, they're very Spock-like, that is for sure. We can be kind of more modern, get, you know, little razor through there since Tag Tournament. Behind on Tekken, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have not, like, I went through a phase for a while of really playing fighting games and then completely dropped off and have not really gone back. I think we've got these ones, you know, I don't know in hair dressing and styling what it's called, but you know, got a little line going through if we want to get modern. Or whatever, eyebrows, just don't make them make them look like a bum. Okay. I'm thinking just, you know, these plain ones, make them look like a player. Oh. Well, then in that case, we can't have them be old big and bushy. Like that. The Heihachi. Heihachi. I hope I'm saying that right. We can't have them be like that. We could have them a bit more sculpted. I know some terminology like that. Otherwise, you know, or something like that. But potentially make them a little bit bigger as well. Do we just go with the originals? Originals look a bit more, you know, look like Saiyan eyebrows. All right, let's look. Oh, hey. I think we bring them down a little bit like this. And width, I think a bit like that. This guy gets women. So we need more eyebrow. Not that much, but maybe something in between. All right, let's see. Maybe like this. All right, let's look back at that arch, though. And where is the height? There we go. Bring the height down. He's a bit upset. There we go. All right. These look like a vampire from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like the show, not the movie. Oh, I'm sad. We could do this. Alright, I think like that, maybe. Okay, that's enough of that. I think we're good there. As far as the mouth goes, I'm not really concerned. I'll just go with that one. That's fine for now. All right. Maybe we change the lip color. Maybe I'm trying to think. If we go, actually, I know what we can do. Let's see. Our skin tone. Let's look at the trying to make it gray, like we had discussed a little earlier. Now, if I can get. Like, that's getting us there slowly, but surely. We're getting there. We may need to change the color. Wish my Steam Deck can do that type of mod. Let's take the base version. That's understandable. That's understandable. Alright, let's see. If we do like this a bit. Now that's a bit more blue, but we would have to bring it down a skosh. Bring it back to blue just a bit. Because trying to get actual gray on this might be a little tricky. But what if I can look around a touch? Yeah, the blue's going to be the closest. Or on the left, I think, to make them gray. Like this. Let's bring that. Let's do... That's not going to do much. Yeah, so this is like our... Almost like our opacity slider. I should look up RGB value for gray, is what I should do first, because then we can dial it in. And then the A, which I'm not entirely sure exactly. Let's see. So if we look at something like... Alright, I got some ideas. I wish I could really customize that. So that's kind of getting there. It's a bit green. Bluish green. I think that might be a better option for gray. It's like a, you know, almost like an ashen kind of gray. I think that'll be good. All right, let's accept that for now. Now let's also change some of this color. So let's come back to here. Or face. Say that's good? All right. Let's see. Where were we at? Nose color. Oh. I think a bit of that. Actually, I know what I could do. Nope. Let's come over to colors. There we go. I can just look at all of them here. All right. What's the one I'm looking for? Eyeshadow. Actually, we could do this. Can we? Let's see if we might be able to almost make it black-ish. But we got... Let me just bring all of these down. Come here. There we go. It's still a bit more red. If I do this, can I? Yeah, that's not changing. Yeah, it seems to kind of give it more of the red color. All right. Cool. Let's see. Let's just kind of... Nope. Let me come to the slider. Yeah, I think... See, around the eyes, that's not too bad. It's just when it gets to this... Now, if I go to the lip color, this is kind of the thing I wanted to change a bit. There we go. A bit of that. I wish I could get the reddish tint out of there, but it's not working as well as I hope. But that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, let's come back. Now let's get to the more important stuff, the hair. All right. Let's first get the hair color like really bright so we can see the styles and stuff, and then we can, dive in. We have got a lot. A lot of them. If anything catches your attention, feel free to let me know. There's even some with like accessories that are built into them, like this one, or was it? It's got a headband, That one had, what, feathers? And a little skull. Alright, let's come back to here. Some, like, we're a pirate bandana kind of thing. And then all the basic ones. But then we got tons of other ones, too. So, feel free. Let me know what you think. And then for the facial hair, let's see. Horns should be visible, right? I would agree. If we're going to have horns, we should be able to see them. To me, that makes sense. We could have a, bit of a toboggan beanie happening, which I'm not going to allow. Go with Super Saiyan hair. All right, you're going to have to help me out. I mean, we've got kind of that spikiness. We could have that, Let me come back a bit. I mean, there are a few that don't necessarily cover up the hair, or the horns, I should say. But then also we have a lot that do. But if I go with, if I can find it, I know what I can do. Just kind of skim through like this. Maybe that man bun with sides shaven. Let's see. Oh. Nope, that didn't have the sides, but... Just gonna... that's more of a shave side. So, get something like that. Oh, that's the beard. And then this one's the no bun. Or, if I can track down what I said, was like this. Or like this. That's awful. I mean, that, you still get some long hair, but it keeps the horns showing. Or like this, you know? A little pseudo-Geralt-ish. Mostly just because of the color and the styling, but... That? As here, I'll leave it here. Do you mean... You say 116? And Jorge, which one did you mean? With that one looked nice. Let's kind of leave this here for a second. He meant this one. All right, I'll let him, you know, get to the responding. Longer hair with the ponytail on top. Okay, so that was 110. So we got options. WTF. So we got 110 or the 116. Mr. Kristoff says, hell no. All right, we'll think on it. We'll think on it. Now we got to figure out our facial hair, of course. We got, like, mutton chops. We could have big old mustache. There's one with a bird on her shoulder. You're right, 116 is better? Okay. Let's see. One of these had a bird on a shoulder, which probably won't make sense once we start moving around, but like we have dragons in our beard if you want to, you know. Oh, let me change that color back so we can really, again, see. All right, let's see. Clean shaven. Yes, we can see it. Let's go. Let's find it. You would think it would be like 0, but that's not it. I'm gonna have to like really scroll through. Oh, we're almost there. Oh, I think I saw it. There it is. That's clean shaven. Number 345 is clean shaven. Look like a square. Okay. So we got to get some... It's like he was snacking on some dragon chips and kept a leftover in his beard. Exactly. So we got... I mean, we've got quite literally hundreds of options. minus the clean shaven, of course. And then we got to decide on a hair color, too. So be thinking about that. I don't know how well this will work with clipping in between with the armors and all that, but we'll figure it out. We'll get there. Say a medium beard. Now, obviously, like something like this may not be medium, but you know, we can maybe find, you know, there's like something like this, number 49. I'll just kind of say that out loud. Oh, medium. Oh, well. I did not read that correctly the first time. That's on me. I mean, there's like pseudo, like, you know, kind of like that. 219. Say 49 looked clean. Okay. And there's 219. You know, that's got a bit. Look at that chin, though. Got chin for days. Like I said, we got to figure out our hair color as well at some point. Drake, why are you crying over there? Do you not have much of a chin? Do you have a snoot? A snoot, but no chin? Say a medium pointy beard will do. Okay. We got to find something that would count as medium. Like, I mean, there's something like this. Number 349. It's a bit pointy because of our pointy chin. Not too crazy. Yeah, we got some options. Got a few options I'd say we've looked at. There was 49. There's 349. And then there was the one we were just at that I don't remember the number of. But let's see. Just kind of give it a little turn. A little rock and roll. And let's go back to 49 as well, just for reference. There's 49. It's got a bit more, you know, around here. A bit more. And then, what was that other one? $219. That, you know, brings it in closer. And then let's just come on over to 349 as well. I'll just let that sit, percolate. Saying 349 pretty long. Choose this one, okay. I was just saying, like, you know, we'll leave it here. It fits the criteria. But, you know, not too bad. All right. Now for hair color. What do we want? I have a feeling I know what'll be picked. I'm not going to say anything, but I have a good feeling that I know what's going to be picked. They're going to go for it. We're going for it. So we got the hair. We got the beard. Now we just need a hair color. I'm just going to leave this open. My lips are sealed when it comes to choices and stuff like that. We got a salt and pepper. Our highlights available. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there are those extra options. But if we look at a salt and pepper, let me bring this up. Let me bring this down. Kind of come to this direction. I mean, some of them have a little. Keep some gray in there. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit poking out. Now, if we lighten it up a bit, or we can even keep it a little darker. What if we move around a touch? Black with deep red highlights. I don't know if we can get that much of a custom. But if we keep it around like here-ish, kind of in that bluish green area, we can go a little darker or a touch lighter. We'll do that, and that basically keeps it the same as well. Let's see if we go this way a touch. You can, especially on this side, you could really see some of the lighter coming through. I don't know how well that's going to show up on stream because I only stream in 1080 as opposed to the recordings. But, you know, not too shabby. Black, gray, or white for me. Okay. I think this I think is a nice compromise where we've got a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. So I'm going to say except on this, but I'll look around and see if there's like any extra that we can do. I'm not going back to All right, I think we're good. I think we got it. I think we got our character. Okay. We got our dark elf, pseudo gray skin, a little bit darker red around the eyes, reddish eyes, the horns, the hair, the beard, the whole thing. So, let's name her character. I like, let's see, an out color thinking. Oh, I was thinking you guys were going to choose black. Black for the hair. That's what I was thinking. We're almost there. Size is appropriate. We're not going to see it, so we won't know. Just imagine that it is. All right. I'm thinking that what was said earlier, there was the Grey Devil. I think that's a cool name. Or we can change the name and that can be more like the nickname is the Grey Devil. But I'm cool with this since it was brought up earlier. But who knows? We could be a Grey Devil that's just a farmer. That would be funny. But I think Grey Devil will work regardless. Because either it would be accurate. Is there a mechanic for that? I mean, not that I know of. Not that I'm aware of. So I think we just stick with it. Boom. All right. We gotta select our background. So, may now select the background. Backgrounds reflect your skills and past experiences. There are a few ways to select your background, and the choice is yours. We can just choose one, or not. We can create one, or we can take a quiz. What do you guys think? I have my inclination, but, you know, we just leave this up to see what happens. We got to keep in mind, though, that our character dabbles in, at least by default, there's a little extra magic. I think it was one-handed distinct. Well, the quiz sounds fun. I mean, we could do a quiz and see what happens. I don't know if it'll lock us into it, but we can, you know, find out. Let's take a quiz. All right, we got, on a clear day, you chance upon a strange animal whose leg is trapped in a hunter's claw snare. Judging from the bleeding, it will not survive long. What do you do? We can use our dagger to mercifully end its life, We can use herbs from our pack to put it to sleep, or we can do not interfere and learn more about the animal you are unfamiliar with. So we got option A, B, and C. What does the gray devil do? We end its life, we put it to sleep, or we just don't interfere and we study it. We ain't no damn healer. Kit says B. Said he's rolling A or C. Uh-oh. Controversy. Let's see. Jorge, you may have to be a tiebreaker if you're still here. Or if there's anyone else in the chat. Let's see. Jorge, it says C. So we do not interfere and we learn more about the animal that we are unfamiliar with. Okay. All right. One summer afternoon, your father gives you a choice of chores. Which would you rather do? We can work in the forge with him, casting iron for a new plow. We can gather herbs with our mother, who is preparing dinner. We can go catch fish at the stream using a net and line. So we're forging, gathering herbs, or we're fishing. What are we doing? What does the gray devil do? What does he do? Is the question. Great devil isn't necessarily evil, just a very menacing and feared killer. Fair. Fair. But who knows? He may turn into a, evil person through the course of the playthrough. We don't know. Let's see, C or B and C. So we're either gathering herbs or we're fishing. But technically, we got a couple of votes for fishing. Jorge, if you're there, I'll wait to see what you say, just in case you throw a spanner into the works, if you will. Working a forge would give him understanding of metals. That's true. B seems like an alchemy option. Are we using alchemy? That's a good question. We don't know. Currently, I think we are not skilled in alchemy. But this quiz may provide us with some skills in alchemy. I mean, obviously, regardless, we could train in alchemy. Regardless of what we do. But, I mean, this seems like smithing, then obviously alchemy. Fishing, though, technically, in this mod list, there is a hunter. It's its own, like, skill tree, so to speak, or perk tree. Well, with this Skyrim, we're going to need smithing. I mean, that is true. That is true. We could eventually smith items and sell them, and that's how we make some money. I mean, we could also be a hunter who gets pelts, who smiths them through leather working into some items, makes money that way too. There's potential. But we got, what did we get? 2 votes for C, 1 for B, and then working in the forge. And then obviously we're going to need smithing. So you know what? We'll go with smithing. We'll go with that. All right, next. Our cousin has given you a very embarrassing nickname. Clearly not the Grey Devil. You asked him to stop, but he finds it very amusing to watch you blush. What do you do? So we can beat our cousin until he stops. We can make up a story that makes your nickname a badge of honor. We all know leatherworking don't bring no money in. Could. It very well could. Probably won't, but it could. Or we can make up an even more embarrassing nickname for him. So we can just beat it. Hey, you don't talk that trash. Make up a story. Just be like, I'm cool. Or we can turn it around on that little nerd of a cousin. Whoop that trick. I mean, we could do that. We could. Let's see what Kit and Jorge have to say. We'll let them weigh in. Or we could just go with straight up, we're whooping that trick. Kit says A as well. Okay. All right, looks like we are whooping that trick. There's a lot of heated discussion over telepaths. Rumor is these telepaths read a person's mind and tell their lord whether a follower is telling the truth or not. What is your opinion? We have this is a terrible practice. Loyal followers to the king have nothing to fear, or in these times, it is a necessary evil. Now, while you think of that, give me a second. I'm going to make a quick restroom trip. I've been drinking a lot of water pretty quickly, so it's going through. I'll be right back while you give me some options. All right. Let's see. Telepaths can be bad for us if we're assassinating high-profile people. We don't bow down, no king, eh? Damn straight. Same. Okay. So, looks like we're going with option A. All right. Your mother sends you to the market. You find that a shopkeeper has given you too much money back in exchange for one of the items. What do you do? We return to the store, give the shopkeeper his hard-earned money. We decide to use the money to purchase items that would help the family, or we pocket the extra money for ourselves. What do we do? Drake, what do we do? What do we do? Come over here. Come on. Over here. Lay down. Draco's being a little stubborn. Sadie says, we pocket. Take it back. We're evil. Just gravitating towards A in this situation. Okay. Looks like we're taking it back. All right. We'll go with that. We're going to return that money. All right, while in the marketplace, you witness a thief cut a purse from a noble. The noble notices and calls for the city guards. The thief drops the purse near you. No one seems to notice the bag of coins. What do you do? We pick up the bag and signal to the guard. We leave the bag there, or we pick up the bag and pocket it. Lots of stealing in this couple of questions. Do we just say, hey, not my bag, not my problem? Dud it! Ayo. Pocket again. No, I'm thinking if we chose to give the money back to the shopkeeper for the last one, then we should follow along based on that. But that's just me. So I'm going to say we signal the guard. So we'll go that. All right. Father sends you on a task that you loathe. On the way there, you run into your friend. He offers to complete the task in return for a future favor of his choosing. What do you do? We decline his offer, knowing that that is better not to be in debt. We ask him to help you, and you agree to help him with a task of his choosing. Or you accept his offer. As long as the stables are cleaned, it matters not who does it. Okay, so we say no thank you. We don't want to be in debt. We say, hey, let's do, this. Let's help out. Or, as long as the stables are clean, who cares? We got some options. Duddits with the accepting of the offer at the bottom. The option C. Debt is never good. I agree. Kit is rolling with C. We don't know. Hey, you don't know anybody yet. Oh, we are split, it looks like. We have a couple that say no debt. And then we have some that are like, well, doesn't matter who's doing this. We just need to get it done. I think I'm going to have to flip a coin. I think we're going to have to flip a coin. So, heads will be to not be in debt. And tails, it doesn't matter. All right. We're pulling up flip a coin. I'm going to get this ready. Tails. Yep, tails. Accept the offer. All right. Mother asks you to help fix the stove. While you're working, a very hot pipe slips its mooring and falls towards her. How do you react? We position yourself between the pipe and your mother. We grab the hot pipe and try to push it away. Or we push the mother out of the way. Do we just get hit? Do we try to deflect? Or do we say, no, you get out of the way, and no one gets hit? All right, Dad, it's coming in. We try to stop it. We try to do the noble thing. There's a lot of innuendo I could use here. Either way, Mama's safe. Just move her. Yeah, there's a lot of innuendo that could go into these answers. We Puerto Ricans love our mothers. All right, so we got a few A's. Okay. All right, so we'll go with that. A baker gives you a sweet roll. He's the one who stole it. You take it into an alley to enjoy. Weird. Only to be met by a gang of other kids. That's implying that we're a kid. The leader demands the sweet roll, or else they will beat you and take it. Bunch of kids coming around trying to beat us up. What do? We drop the sweet roll and step on it, then get ready for the fight. We give them the sweet roll and come back with our friends later. We gotta come and get our get back. Or we create a distraction in the hopes that the leader will become vulnerable to attack. Tell Butch to soak his head. I forget who said it, but I'm thinking, I'm not going to actually say the full quote, but F them kids is what I'm thinking. I try to keep it relatively clean around here. We don't fight fair. That's how we earn that name. I mean, there's that. A sounds so evil. I mean, like I said, my inclination was like, okay, you want to get some stomped on mushed sweet roll? And get some hands, get the beats, or let me say, run the fade even. But then there's also the, hey, what's that? And the dummies turn around, and then, Swapah! There's also that. Looks like we're leaning to fight. But we've got one definite A, one definite C, and then beat them up and make them eat the smush sweet roll. These hands are rated E for everyone. That's right. We do not discriminate with the hands. Let's see. Beat them up and make them eat that smush sweet roll. I wish that was an option. What's that over there? Pulls out the gat. That's a bit much in this scenario. Kit, though, says A. Yep. Drop the sweet roll. Step on it. We smush it. Get ready for the fight. And then after the fight, like, you want the sweet roll so much, boom. Then we make them eat it. I think we go with that. Option A. As you enter town, you witness a well-dressed man running from a crowd. He screams to you for help. The crowd seems very angry. What do? We rush to the town's aid immediately. We stand aside and allow the man and the mob to pass, or we rush to the man's aid immediately. Do we get involved, and if so, which side are we on? Or do we just say, hey, not my chair, not my problem? What do we do? B, no context. Exactly. Trust no one. Yeah, DTA, you stupid piece of trash. Don't trust nobody. What? All right, I agree. I fully agree. B. All right, so this quiz wants us to be a warrior. Professional men-at-arms, soldiers, mercenaries, and advenchaas of the world, trained with various weapons and armor styles, conditioned by long marches, and hardened by ambush, skirmish, and battle. Our skills that we would get are block, heavy armor, marksman, one-handed smithing, and two-handed. Are we a warrior? Seems we made a few wrong decisions. I kind of agree with you there. Namely, if we had the light armor option on here, I'd be like, you know what? We could work with it, but the way heavy armor penalties can come into play. But at least we took some quizzes. We've got an idea of how the Grey Devil would act in various situations. We got a little, little psychiatric, evaluation. I'll see, what other people say. Are we aware? I personally don't think so. I know SETI obviously says doesn't think so either. Feel more scrappy rogue than warrior. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. We're not necessarily an assassin by any means, but I'm going to say no. All right. You know what? Let's create. And let's select our skills. All right. We have 6 skills that reflect our background. Once we have finished selecting these 6, we press back and then finish. All right. So skill A. These are our combat skills. Block, heavy armor, marksman, one-handed, smithing, two-handed. There are magic skills. We got those. There's stealth skills as well. All right, so we got a one-hand option. Okay. All right, so art of using one-handed weapons like daggers, swords, maces, and war axes. Those, I should say, trained in this skill deliver deadlier blows. What was our motivation again? Is it money-oriented, bloodlust, or just passion of the assassin arts? We're not an assassin necessarily. Like I said, we're going to kind of create a character with a certain set of skills, of course. And then the game is going to inform us of kind of our direction. So, for example, we could start as... It's almost like a mercenary, in a way that's a slight bit sneaky, you know? But then we could find a nice money-making scheme, and then we become a merchant or something like that. While trying to survive, of course. That's the other key thing. But then, you know, we could start down one path and then naturally gravitate towards something else, you know? The game's going to inform us of that. Anywho, I still think having some form of melee, some form of ranged, those are... I like having both options. So one-handed, we'll select that. All right, skill B. Well, it's all the same. So what was the suggestion a little bit ago? Let's see. Say smithing. I see an alchemy one, and then toss the rest. Or the rest is sneak and magic. Let's see. SETI, one hand, smith archery. Okay. That sounds like a nice balance. Because we could smith ourselves some new gear, new weapons, sell the stuff we don't want as well. Sneakiness, that could lend to almost like a hunter. That could lend its way to, obviously, if we pick up a contract of some kind, you know, we get a bit of sneakiness in there as well. Okay, so one-handed, smithing, skill C is going to be the archery one that we decided. Where was it? Marksman. The only example I'm thinking of for mercenaries, guts from Berserk. That would be a very interesting setup for sure. That would be, what, two-handed archery? Well, it depends on which age of Berserk, if you will. Obviously, the younger one was basically, I think, sword and shield when he was younger, if I remember correctly. And then, obviously, you got the two-handed. You got the little kind of hand crossbow sort of thing with some other gadgets as well. Then kind of more medium-ish armor, then maybe into more of a heavy-ish armor. I haven't gone through all of it, but that's my limited knowledge. But speaking of armor, we got to choose an armor as well. Are we light or are we heavy? That's another thing. Let me see. Let me go. So we got heavy. And then we've got evasion. Remember the big ass sword and the light armor. Yeah. I'm thinking, though, kind of given the character we've been discussing, that the evasion or light armor would be the way to go. Just me saying. So we can go there. We'll select that. Light armors from fur, hide, leather scaled, elven glass, dragon scale, and more. Evasion is hard to avoid damage in light or no armor as well. Okay. So let me just make sure. So we've got one-handed, we've got smithing, we got marksman, archery, and then evasion, so light armor or no armor. We've got two more skills. I know we talked about sneak. Glass cannon build, we don't get touched. Too good for that. So we had sneak. We talked about. And then our final one, I know magic was brought up. So that includes our normal schools of magic and also enchanting as well. So we could, you know, go with magic. We've also got some extra stealth stuff we could do. We could be a silver tongue, talk our way into better prices and whatnot. How strong is destruction? That's a great question. But what I do know is that magic in this game, they have made the magic system a lot more complicated in Wildlander, I should say, not this game, where you have to like study about spells and stuff like that. Intimidate for better prices, yeah. Do we need illusions to quick cast? I mean, who knows? Or quiet cast. Potentially. I haven't looked at the actual skill tree in a minute, so I don't remember if quiet casting or silent casting is in there. I would imagine it's still an illusion, though. Now, granted, with illusion, there's the potential to influence other stuff. But magic is much more in depth. Like, there's studying spells. Like, you actually take time out of the day to sit there and read books and study and stuff like that. That is for sure. Gotta play it safe and go illusion. Okay. So yeah, illusion is an option. You know what? Let's go for it. Let's just see what happens. All right, so just to make sure, yep, that was our final one. No skills remaining. We press back. We press finish. There's our background. All right, got a birth sign. So, let's see. I'm not going to read all of these. Magical forces allow swift recovery of one's own energies, but also causes a severe vulnerability to less benevolent powers. That doesn't sound too great to me. Atronach. Let's see. Magica regeneration is almost impossible, or passive magica regen. Magica potions restore a third less, and the efficacy of food is greatly reduced. But, there's all those negatives. We have a larger pool of magicka, and a good chance to completely absorb hostile magic. Whatever sign gives us more magicka off rip. Okay. Let's see, the lady. Increasing stamina regen. Let's see, increasing resistance to both physical and magical harm. So a bit more on the defense. The lever. Let's see, otherworldly charisma, improving the outcome of any social interaction. The mage. Let's see, inherent understanding of magic itself, increasing spell casting powers greatly. Are these oblivion birth signs? I mean, basically. Let's go to more. We got ritual. So let's see, raising of the recently deceased. Got our serpent. Call upon its power once a day to call forth a deadly bolt of the purest poison imaginable. Shadow. Basically, stay silent and hidden. Our steed is going to be extraordinary endurance. Our thief. Basically, makes small blades and arrows keen, shadows darker, fingers more dexterous, and pockets locks looser for those who carry your blessings. So basically, you know, more sneakiness. And then finally, there's the tower. Carry weight increase. I won't need that, so we can just skip past. Got our warrior. Wield any weapon with greater skill and power. Or we could just go random, which I'm not about to do that because some of these sound awful. So if we're leaning towards having better magic, I'm looking at the mage, which is increasing spellcasting powers greatly. There was also the Lord. Probably going to be mage, yeah. The Lord is the increasing the resistance to both physical and magical harm, so we would take less damage. So we can either deal better magic damage or magic potency if we're going illusion. That's not necessarily the most damaging one there is. Or we can be a bit more resistant. Those are my two that I'm leaning toward, is either the Lord or the Mage. Just throwing it out there. We aren't getting hit, so the Lord isn't good. Well, just, well. I wish I could say we aren't going to get hit. I wish I could agree with that. But you know what? I have a dodging problem? No, not necessarily. It's just the mod makes some of this stuff a little bit harder. So, you know what? Let's go mage. All right, we have to select a start. So where or how are we starting? Not necessarily where. We could be crossing the border. We're staying at an inn, or we're surviving the wilds. So we select our start. Our start reflects the circumstances. As the story begins, be warned, some starts are harder than others. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Because any one of these could be anywhere, but I think we get to choose where that is for the most part, I think. Remember the Melania fight? She's giving you the work. We're unable to dodge. With the Darth Maul build, I didn't really have to dodge because we were just shredding through. But, fair enough. Fair enough. So, yeah, what are we doing? Crossing the border, staying in an inn, or are we surviving the wilds? Is the wild option in tune with the mod? I mean, since it's called Wildlander is the name of it, but yeah. Basically, we get dropped off somewhere out in the wilds. Is basically what it is, with some equipment. We may be somewhat close to an actual city or a town. We may not be. We may be dropped in the middle of a blizzard and might die very quickly. And that could go bad. Yes, it could. Considering this mod list is also de-leveled as well, so the enemies do not scale with us. We may be somewhat close to a saber-tooth. I mean, that is an option. We could. We could also just be near a wolf, because at level 1, those are even difficult to kill. So, just throwing it out there. That could be a problem. Saber-tooth, but even lower level baddies could also be a problem too. So, say the inn, saber-tooth or bear threat is very real. That's true. And if we're in an inn, then potentially we could find some work in town. Start making a little bit of money, buying and making some better gear and whatnot. So, it is a reasonable option. So let's go there. Staying in an inn. Now, what city are we staying in? We got all of the options. Jorge says stay in an inn. All right. There we go. We got an extra. So we've got Dawnstar, Falkreath, Markarth, Morthal, Riften, Solitude, Whiterun, Windhelm, Winterhold. Where are we at? We could be any one of these. We're in. What inn are we in? I'll just let you guys decide, of course. drink. Let's see, Riften puts us right in place for Dark Brotherhood and leaves. Of course. Who would have guessed? But I mean, Riften, the nice thing about Riften is it's a warmer climate as well. So right off the bat, or right off the rip even, we wouldn't necessarily have to worry about being cold, which is a problem. It could rain though, but we may not have to worry about cold. So there's that. And if we're in Riften, we may not have to worry about bribing the guards to let us in, which would save us a lot of gold. So, Hori's thinking Riften also. Okay, it's a smart decision. I'm not surprised, but it's a smart decision. Riften. All right, is this our start? Yes. All right, our Dragonborn status. That's why you mentioned the Blizzard. There's a survival aspect to this mod. That's a bit of an understatement that there's a survival aspect. It's a very survival heavy one. Very survival heavy. So things like camping, foraging, crafting, warmer clothing and stuff like that. Sleeping, eating, drinking, managing diseases and stuff like that. That's all part of this. Now, for the Dragonborn status, so you gotta sleep and whatnot? Yes, we do. And if we don't, it affects us negatively. So, we are not going to be a Dragonborn at all, which, we cannot participate in the main quests for Skyrim and Solstheim. We are just a regular person. Or in this case, elf devil. Let's see, man, gotta work in 4 hours. Well, hopefully you got some rest before that. So like, the clap? Sure. Potentially. Or non-Dragonborn, though. Once confirmed, this cannot be changed. Yep. All right, our difficulty. Now, this, I am going to not deal with standard. Or I don't want to. But I think for the content, and I'm just going to have to work my way through it, we're going to go standard. It's the intended experience. However, it can be adjusted later. So if I get too frustrated with it down the road, where's the hard mode? I mean, there really isn't one. It's just these two. However, either way, it's difficult. So standard. We can change it later. Again, if I get too frustrated with it. All right, congratulations, Wildlander. You're now free to live as you wish. Will you stay the path that led you to this moment or march toward a new destiny? The wilds are eager to see. When the game begins, we'll have 6 perks to assign as we see fit, and then we can view controls with F11. Let's begin our story. Military can't just call it. Oh.
Heed my words. The return of the dragons is not mere coincidence. This is one of the signs that Lady Mara is displeased with your constant inebriation. Put down your flagons filled with your vile liquids, and embrace the teachings of the handmaiden of Kine.
No, Maramo. We talked about this. Talon?
Kirava, certainly we can come to some sort of an understanding. These people must be made aware of the chaos they've sown.
Enough, Maramo. We've all heard of the dragons and their return. There's
Just
no
waiting for
need
them to
use
stop
them
talking.
as an excuse to harass our customers.
Very well, Talon. I'll remove myself from this den of iniquity.
We're not kicking you out. Just keep the sermons at the temple and let us all sin in peace.
If you've got the coin, you've come to the right place. Pull up a seat.
Okay. Now, real quick. As far as my camera positioning, because I know this could, some people could affect it. Right now, I am covering this on this side, like my carry weight, gold, exposure, some survival stuff. So I could keep it here, or we could, let me get over here, do this. We could, move it up out of the way a little bit like this. And then if I go back into the game, there we go. See? But let's see. Back to Jorge, which military can't just call off, especially since I'm the only going in for my section. Well, that sounds fun. Good luck with that. And also, thank you as well. Let's see. So your face gets pink enough, you'll change it on the difficulty? Yeah. But yeah, as far as camera goes, like I said, I can move it out of the way so that way all the stuff can be seen and whatnot. I mean, I potentially could move all the UI elements as well. I haven't looked into it. But enough of that. We got to see what we look like. We can sort of see ourselves there. It's a bit dark, I know. Let me just come on over here. So we got, looks like some fur-ish armor. Let's check our inventory. All right, so we got a few items. Let's check our weapons first. We got an iron sword, some arrows, a light bow. We got fur stuff equipped. However, we also, let's see, lines on the screen. What lines on the screen? What lines are you talking of? Hold on, let me come back to here. If you're talking about like down at the bottom, or are you talking somewhere else? Because I don't see any particular lines on the screen. Actually, let me go outside so that way it's a bit brighter. Let's do that. Watch, I walk outside and it's raining. That would be just my luck. Lines for chat, probably. Yeah, that could be it. On the left side of the screen, it's yeah, it could be chat. All right. There we go. This is a bit better. Yeah, it could be chat. Could be chat lines, potentially. All right, but now, so back to what we got. We got the first stuff. Some cotton and linen items that have a bit better coverage. Obviously less armor, and less warmth. But if it starts raining, that's what coverage will be for. This coverage is about the same. This coverage is considerably better. So right now we got warmer items, less coverage, so not the best in the rain. We have some stamina restorative potion. We got a little bit of food, a little bit of mead, some stews. Okay. Craftsman manual. This book should allow about anyone to learn about the basics of craftsmanship. And then we've got our spell research journal, our toolkits to be able to basically do alchemy, smithing, crafting, cooking, and stuff like that away from your usual stations. Let me show you. So, for example, I've got this forge, but if I press the right shift key, I can come into here, and if I go into here, or let's see. Well, I don't have the books to do it, or the items, but I could potentially cook up some items on a forge instead of having to go find like a cooking spit or something like that. So that is one of the things. But as you can see, there's a lot of other controls that we're going to have to learn for sure. Now, for some reason, it shows that my stream has frozen. Let me see if I can investigate that crime scene. Give me 1 second. Let me refresh this and see what's happening. Okay. Looks like we're okay. It's working for you? Okay. It was just on my side. The little preview window showed that it was frozen. But there we go. So yeah, we've got a lot of different controls. Things like building our fire, toggling our lantern. We can sit or sleep. So for example, if I do this, I could, you know, just find a place to lay down. So, for example, if I can't find a bed, I could choose as an option to go to sleep where I'm at. However, I'm out in the elements. Or I could just try to make my way into a building and get some sleep. There may be some sort of negative effects, though. So there is that to keep in mind. But there we go. Now, this is about as far as I want to get progression-wise. As far as our mods, that's the wrong mods. Mod configuration. There we go. So we got a lot of different things that, you know, I may dive into. But if anyone watching this is ever curious as to what the mods are, by all means, hold on a minute. This is frozen again. What is going on? Hold on a second. If anyone can hear me, let me know. Because for some reason, it says that something is wrong with my stream and I can't load it. All right, so you hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. You can hear me. Can you see me as well? Let me just come back to here. All right, it looks like for some... I don't know what is going on with that. But either way, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up here. Because we've been going for a little over 2 hours. It's getting a little late for me. I know some of you, it's a little late for you as well. But this week... No, we cannot see. No, do that. But yeah, this week, we're going to start the actual proper series for this. So let me come back to here real quick. And here we go. We've got our Grey Devil. We got Brynjolf yapping away. Let me kind of come over this way. There we go. So yeah, we have got our new series that we're going to start this week. Survival. We're a regular person. Nothing crazy. Any of that. We're going to learn to survive in this new land of Skyrim with our Grey Devil. So, that is going to wrap things up for me. Let me make a new save here and get out of the game. So yeah, this week we're going to be looking, hopefully, you guys will be looking forward to this new series that we're going to start, Wildlander, with all sorts of surviving, probably a lot of dying, me getting frustrated, trying to survive and learn new mod list, sort of new to me, because we didn't really dive into it much back in Coda, but that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for me for now, but before I go, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. I'll see you guys later.